All right, y'all, what's going on? Welcome to the Monday Night Raw. Everybody put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me clearly. For the folks over on IG, we are also live. Absolutely. We got Mama Dude coming in. What's going on, Mama Dude? What's going on? Good to see you in here. All right. Crystal, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Miss D. What's going on, Miss D? All right. Virginia, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Happy Monday, y'all. Queen Raw Life, what's going on? Good to see you in here. Got some 1s in the chat. There we go. For the folks tuning in on Instagram, I'm also on the YouTube channel. All right. So if you want to tune in, basically I stream pretty much every Monday night on the YouTube channel. But for those of you tuning in on Instagram, we're in here also. All right. Why does it look like over there on Instagram like I'm not in my chair? What's going on with that? All right. What we got to talk about tonight is something that I often talk about in my calls. But before I get into that, red lentil soup, sliced avocado on top, tofu chunks on the bottom, basil tea. So I'm living life tonight, and I'm gonna keep it tight tonight. I'm gonna try not to keep y'all on here too late. I know I always say that. I'll be doing these hour and a half, hour, 45-minute streams, 2-hour streams and all that. Somebody on Instagram said no sound. I don't know. I don't know about that. Everybody else can hear me clearly. But for those of you on Instagram, let me know. Put a 1 in the chat over on IG if you can hear me clearly. But my sound looks like it's coming through pretty clear on my end. No sound on IG. I wonder why that's the case. I wonder why that's the case. What's going on? On IG, why y'all can't hear me? I think IG is bugging out. Because I'm basically whatever y'all hear on YouTube should also be heard on Instagram. It shouldn't be separate. It should be separate. So I don't know. I don't have different audio settings between the two, so I don't know. That might be an Instagram issue. Oh, okay, there we go. So we got some 1s in the chat on Instagram. Y'all can hear me clearly. There we go. My sound is working just fine. All right, there we go. All right, so basically tonight we got to talk about how to stay consistent, right? And, you know, it's not a matter of motivation, really, right? Like when you're trying to stay on track with your journey, your wellness journey, whether it be dropping body fat, building muscle, reversing a chronic illness, whatever your goals are, right? It's not really about motivation. Like you can hear a motivational speech and feel pumped up momentarily. It doesn't really last long. Or you have to have something that's more sustainable set into place. And one of the best ways I've found to really sustain that is immersion. People who are the most consistent are always tapped in to whatever they're trying to be consistent with. They're immersed in it. Right? On top of immersion, there's a specific type of immersion, or there's a mechanism that you can use to keep you immersed in whatever you're doing, and that's gamification. Right? How to gamify your journey. Luckily, I was blessed with a set of parents. Big shout out to Mama Do, who really invested in something early on in my childhood for me, called video games. Video games was how I developed my propensity for gamification, right? So gamification basically is this framework that you build where there's this reward system that is set into place in your life, and this reward system it's delivered through numbers, essentially, right? There's something that you get in return that has some type of numerical value of some sort. There's a thing you get. It could be badges, stickers, colors, graphics, numbers, whatever the case is, right? But with the gamification that I'm talking about numbers. The gamification. And numbers kind of represent a particular thing. Circumference measurements, weight on the scale, sets and reps, overall weight lifted, right? Calories, macros, all this type of stuff, right? Your A1C, blood pressure. There's all these numbers. And one of the best things that you can do is count everything, right? And that's one thing that is core to the gamification experience. So early on, I was like a big fan of like RPG games. RPG games, you got to go and collect an item, you got to do a puzzle, and then when you collect the item and you do the puzzle, you can pass on to a next phase in the game, right? And you have these long-term goals and short-term goals. The long-term goal is beating the game, right? But the short-term goals are what keep you in. If you had a video game and it was just all centered around the long-term goal, but there were no short-term goals, the game would just be unbearable, right? It's kind of like you can have a video game where it takes you 2 hours to beat the game. But like there was no stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, or level 1, level 2, level 3. It was just one level, and it took you 2 hours to beat. There were no checkpoints in between. There was no demarcation to where one point ends and another begins. This is a straight line from start to finish with nothing in between. That's brutal, right? And one of the biggest mistakes that people make is you have a long-term goal. There's no short-term goals. The short-term goals are not clearly defined, and the short-term goal can't be like your long-term goal. There's got to be something else. You got to put some meat on the bones of this thing. So video games have a thing called side quests. You have the main mission, the main objective, but then there's these tributaries that branch out in different ways. Right? These are called side quests. The side quests and being immersed in completing the side quests on your healing journey, this is what gets you to reaching peak health. This is what gets you to where you really want to be. It's the side quests. There's a lot of different things in between that you can achieve on your journey. So for example, let's say you want to lose 60 pounds. So you can say, well, my short-term goal is I want to lose 5 pounds incrementally. Okay. What else is there to the journey besides losing the weight? I want to improve my blood pressure. Okay, what else do you want to do? I want to improve my A1C. I want to improve my insulin sensitivity. Okay, what else do you want to do? I want to build muscle mass. Okay, you want to build muscle mass. What else do you want to do? I want to get stronger and lift more weights. Okay, it's that. What are some of the other things, right, in your journey that you can tack on? And then there's the physical aspect of your wellness journey, but a large part of your wellness journey is your mental and emotional and spiritual health. The spiritual health thing, that's what makes it very, very interesting. It makes it more fulfilling. If your thing is like, I just want to see the weight change on the scale, it's going to be rough. Because like, we're not really motivated that much by that. I'll give you an example. You look at yourself in the mirror and you see your reflection. Imagine if the number on the scale kept changing, but your body didn't change. Just the number on the scale changed. But the way you looked stayed the same. You'd be like, yeah, sure, the number's moving, but I don't really feel like I look any different. It's that. You're not really motivated by how much you weigh. How much you weigh is kind of irrelevant. It's about what your body's capable of. It's about what you've done with it. What are the changes? What are the modifications you've made? I've did a lot of different iterations of this message of count everything. Not just your weight, but count everything. Circumference, measurements, everything, right? Here's a good goal, right? As a human being, let's say you do a barbell deadlift. You should be able to deadlift twice your weight. A good goal. If you are 150 pounds, you should be able to deadlift 300 pounds. If you're 200 pounds, you should be able to deadlift 400 pounds. Now you may look at that and be like, wow, that's a lot of weight. It is. But it's a standard, it's a benchmark that you can set. So imagine on your weight loss journey, you focus on getting stronger at doing a deadlift. So each week, you had a training day that was oriented around increasing your deadlift. Right? So let's say week 1, you start with 95 pounds on some blocks. All right, week 2, you move up to 105. Week 3, you move to 115, and you keep incrementally moving up. Imagine how much weight you'll be able to deadlift within a full calendar year, or at the end of a calendar year. Be very impressive. Right? How many miles can you run unbroken? Maybe you want to focus on improving your long distance run. So you improve your ankle mobility, your knee, the health of your knees, your cardiovascular stamina, all this type of stuff. You can work on these things and you can improve the amount of miles that you run. Or you can improve how fast you run. You can do that too. So you can start adding on these physical attributes. And a big part of video games is increasing your physical attributes. Video games typically have things like defense, strength, power, range, intelligence, charisma, these different characteristics. Right? So you have a character in the video game, and then in the game you have all of these different characteristics. And one of the things that you don't really particularly want to do in a video game is you create a character that's very imbalanced. Like the only thing you ever work on is like defense, and then everything else is shot. Right? Or all you ever work on is charisma. And so like your character's very good with interactions with other characters, but in battle they suck. Or, let's say strength determines how much inventory you can carry at one time. Your character, right? So you're collecting items and whatnot, and traversing through the world. But basically, if you never increase your strength, then this limits what weapons you can use, how much resources your character can carry, this kind of thing. Right? So it impedes your gaming experience because this strength limitation really blunts the gameplay. It may sound kind of silly if you don't really play video games, but there's some valuable nuggets in there. Just playing video games over the years. I don't really play video games much anymore. I'm kind of salty about how video games are nowadays. It's not like how it used to be. Now it's becoming very repetitious. It's kind of soulless now. It's not. There's a little bit of a lack of creativity now. So you have creativity on a downtrend, and you have technological advancement on an uptrend. So things just look better, but they don't have the same level of creativity they used to. When we had more technological limitations, there was more creativity to fill the gap. And you know what? Maybe I just feel that way because, like, you know, I want things to be the way that they used to back when I used to play video games, and I feel like it's just different now. So maybe I'm just a salty old man who just doesn't like the fact that things have changed. But I'm not a salty old man. I'm only 38. So I'm gonna give myself some grace on that. So it's good to journal, and it's good to give yourself a score. Here's how you can apply this in your life today. This watch, this is a Fitbit. Right? And I have a Fitbit app. In my Fitbit app, it shows today I walked 8,728 steps. I've got 87 zone minutes. I got 3.89 miles. And I've burned a total of 2,374 calories today so far. Right? That's what it shows, my activity for the day. And then below that, we got sleep duration. Last night, I slept 6 hours and 56 minutes. I got a sleep score of 82. Right? Now, if we can tap into that, you see the hours. So I went to bed 10:28, woke up at 6:04 a.m. 40 waking minutes. REM sleep was 1 hour 49 minutes. Light sleep was 4 hours and 5 minutes, and deep sleep was 1 hour. This can use some improvement, but we're going to come back to that. Then we got daily readiness. What does that mean? We go into that daily readiness. We got heart rate variability. Heart rate variability basically describes how ready is your cardiovascular system to increase output and will be able to handle output. Right? So how agile is your cardiovascular system to adapt to a change in physical activity? Right? Past week of sleep is good. Heart rate variability, HRV, is about usual, so no change there. Heart rate, resting heart rate, it's 2 beats per minute lower than usual. Okay, that's good. Right. Now, interestingly enough, right, so basically before I continue to anything else, if we're going back to sleep duration, let's say my goal, I want to consistently be able to achieve an hour and a half of REM sleep and an hour and a half of deep sleep. That means that I have to have 3 of my resting hours go towards REM sleep and deep sleep. It's a good goal. How do I do that? Instead of going to bed at 10:30, for example, let's say if I went to bed at 9 o'clock, 9:30, right? Let's say if I went to bed at 8:30 or 8 o'clock, if I get to bed earlier, I can get more of that deep sleep in. Because the REM sleep is good. It was an hour and 45 minutes. It's that deep sleep. I'm going to bed too late. So the later you go to bed, the less deep sleep you get. Go to sleep earlier, you get more deep sleep. The reason why that matters is because your deep sleep determines recoverability, learning capability, mental focus, neuroplasticity, you know, basically your ability to learn, all these different types of things, right? So I can say, yeah, I'm trying to lose weight, yeah, I'm trying to build muscle, but also I want to improve my sleep quality. If I improve my sleep quality, everything else improves. I lose more body fat, I build more muscle mass, I get smarter, all this type of stuff, right? And we have daily readiness. Well, how can I improve my daily readiness? Well, a big part of improving my daily readiness is getting better quality sleep. So I got a 70 on my daily readiness. So that's a score of high. So this is like a cool thing, right? It kind of gamifies my life already in the Fitbit app. Then below here, we got cardio load. So my cardio load today, I have a target range today of 1 to 23, because you like a score of like 1 to 23. I got a 78, so I'm way above my range as far as cardio load. So it logs my workouts. So I go on my watch before my workouts and I set the workout mode and this type of thing, right? So I log my workouts, 99% logged workouts, and general activities 1%, right? Walk at 9:34 a.m. cardio load was 58, and strength training at 8:35 cardio load is 19. Right? And then there's this bar here. It tells you whether you're undertraining, you're training just the right amount, or you're overtraining. For me, I'm overtraining, so I should probably do a bit more. I should probably ease off a little bit, right? Because I've been going at it. So this is a way of gamifying your life. Now you can do this with an Oura ring, you can do this with a Fitbit, things like this. You have like these smart watches and things like that. They monitor your heart rate and all this type of stuff, right? So this gives you numbers. You can apply these numbers to your life where you need to get a certain amount of sleep, not just sleep overall, but sleep quality, which is split between these 3 sleep cycles, right? Light sleep, REM sleep, and deep sleep. And then as far as your cardio and whatnot goes, right? You want to be able to hit your targets as far as your cardio is concerned. Let's say every day you want to walk in between 8,000 to 10,000 steps. It's a good goal. So there's like these things you do, and if you set these mini goals in place in your life, this pretty much guarantees your results. Then another thing too can be like, let's say you can add one thing to your life that I like to do. The majority of my adult life, I do like 20 to 30 minutes of research a day on something where I learn a new thing every day or improve my knowledge base in a particular area every day. Spend a little bit of time on it, 20, 30 minutes, right, out of the day. And I do this on a daily basis, every week, every month, every year, for years. This has leveled me up to the point where I can do these weekly live streams and I always have something of value to deliver, even though I've been doing these live streams for years. And people will tune in and they'll listen to me and I'll give them valuable information that they can use to then change their lives. It's like developing a skill inside a video game. You level up, you gain experience points, and then you go to higher levels. So every time I do research, I gain experience points. Every time I go to bed on time, I gain experience points. Every time I do a workout, I gain experience points. The experience points in life, right? Now, if I'm like trying to focus on improving sleep quality, time I go to bed, steps, 20, 30 minutes of work, of not just exercise or working out, but also mental exercise, learning a new thing or increasing my knowledge base on a thing or my understanding of a thing. I don't have these empty spaces in my life for negative things to then fill in. Nature abhors a vacuum. All empty spaces must be filled. And all empty spaces are filled. And what's interesting is that sometimes we don't even know what empty spaces we have, and we don't even know what they're filled with. There could have been empty spaces that as soon as you've had developed that empty space, something comes and fills it right in. You didn't even know it even filled it in. You didn't even realize. That's why checking in on yourself is very important. So I touched on sleep quality, exercise, the learning and research thing. And then there's your job and things like this, right? If you're passionate about your job, you get as good as possible at your job. And you become more valuable, not specifically to your job, but your occupation. Whatever your occupation is. Your goal may not necessarily to be employee of the month, but whatever your job is, you cultivate your ability to do your job better. Now, of course, if you don't like the job you're doing, it'd be a good idea to increase your knowledge base and do some market research to figure out how to get into a position where you're working and performing an occupation that you enjoy. And there's that. So that's another thing that's very important to work on. And you go through the 3 steps of self-development. Discovery, assessment, and actualization. It's very difficult to move forward in life without doing these steps. Most people who see real meaningful progress and success in their lives, they go through these steps, even if they don't realize they're doing it. Discovery is all about discovering, checking in, and exploring yourself. Who am I? What's my identity? What experiences have I encountered to develop my identity? These types of things. What are my values? What are my beliefs? This kind of thing. What's my vision for my life? What does my ideal life look like? Right? And then assessment is, what tools do I have? What tools can I use to reach those goals? And what am I missing? And then why am I missing those things? Where do I go to get those things? And if I can't go anywhere to get those things, well, what resources do I need to create them on my own? And then actualization is the final step. That's when you actually start to take something that's in your head and you materialize it. You turn it into a real, tangible thing. So you have this vision in your head, and then when you actualize, you step into it. You live it, it becomes real. If you start with actualization and you skip discovery and you skip assessment, actualization is going to be nearly impossible. Because you can end up actualizing something, and then when it becomes real, you're like, oh, this is a hassle, and this is not really what I wanted to do, or this isn't what I thought it was going to be. You get like buyer's remorse and stuff like this. So that's why the other two steps are really important. So for example, if you want to lose weight, well, that's actualization. But what discovery and what assessment have you really done to determine how much weight you want to lose and what's keeping you from losing weight? Do you have the tools to lose weight, etc.? Right? You want to put on muscle and gain muscle mass, all of this type of stuff. What are the tools you have? What are the knowledge resources you have? How much time do you have? Do you have enough? Why do you want to do these things? What does your inner child want? Is this something you truly want? How do you know that this is something that you truly want? What does it take to achieve those things? Is it worth the hassle to you? Is it worth the investment? How long can you stick with it? And once you answer all those questions, then you move to actualization. You can't skip all the juicy questions and then go to actualization. Your journey is going to be very difficult. Because actualization, it wears you out. You need stamina for it. Actualization it's time consuming. It can be tedious and all these different types of things. And when you're immersed in it and it gets hard, it's very easy to quit. So the discovery phase and the assessment phase acts as rocket fuel to propel you forward, so that when things get tough, you can reflect back on the answers to the questions that you answered. The answers that you've given in the discovery and the assessment phase before you quit on your actualization. And you can count these things. Video games have puzzles, have mazes and things like that. And it's like the questions coming up with the answers to the questions, like puzzles. And like RPG games, if you want something from a character in the game, you have like this verbal engagement, this verbal back and forth. So the character will talk to you, and then there'll be like a list of like 3 choices. And if you pick the wrong choice, you can end up pissing off the character, or they're like, oh, and you know, it messes up the whole dialogue tree, and then you're shut out of getting from them what you wanted. So you gotta have your charisma high enough and pick the right choice in order to be able to continue the dialogue tree and then eventually get what you want from that character. Whether it's getting that character to join your team, or giving you vital information to go somewhere and find something, whatever the case may be. So that's like what the answering the questions things is. You answer the questions wrong, or you don't have good answers to the questions, you don't get what you want. Right? Number 3 is the spiritual journey. Spiritual gamification. Spiritual gamification looks a particular way, right? Like a big part of gamification is it's the graphics, it's the vibrant colors, it's the sounds, it's that stuff, right? So for example, people have like Discords, and you can earn badges and do cool like custom made emojis and all this type of stuff. It's kind of like how the spiritual journey is. The spiritual journey enhances the experience of everything. You don't go through the spiritual journey, you don't really develop like a thorough appreciation for the journey. Without the spiritual journey, if you just have goals on paper, it's like I'm just going to point A to point B, and all you care about is just getting from point A to point B. And then when you get to point B, when you achieve your goal, it's like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool. But it doesn't feel revolutionary. It's supposed to feel a certain way. It's supposed to be a massive chemical reaction on the journey. It's supposed to be really immersive and vivid. It's like video games with good graphics. You're in this big open world. There's weather, there's a day and night cycle, there's just, the graphics are just super immersive, intense. You're like, wow, look at that. The sunlight's hitting things, there's all this crazy detail and whatnot. This big open world, right? The graphics are crazy, the sound design. I remember, I played Call of Duty in like my early 20s. Right? I would get together with my friends online, we would play Call of Duty, and we'd just shoot each other, right? Shooting people online. And it was just hours of people just shooting each other in this game, Call of Duty, right? It's like some military shooting game. And you got these 2 teams that just try to kill each other. It's just match after match after match of just people shooting each other, right? It's kind of weird. And you shoot somebody, and you know, you kill them, and like there's like points and numbers and stuff that come out of their body. And there's like experience points that go plus 50, 100, whatever, right? And then all the points add up, and then you get this thing, and you can like call in a plane, and then you go from like shooting people, and then you can bomb people, right? But anyways, that was the game, right? Call of Duty is not really that appealing to me anymore, because I don't view it the same as I did when I was in my 20s. I've learned things that's kind of ruined it for me. But in playing that game, I got this headset. And the name of the headset was called Turtle Beaches. That's what the headset was called. So basically, you can play video games, and like the sound just comes from your TV. Or like you can hook up speakers to the TV, and the sound will come through the speakers. When I got this headset, and I plugged the headset into the remote controller, right? You put the headset on, there's like these earmuffs. You can't really hear anything when you put this headset on. It's like this muffled headset. You put it on, and it has like this surround sound thing. You can hear footsteps. You can hear all the gunshots, explosions, everything. It's crazy. Everything sounds super loud and chaotic. Bam, boom, ba, da, 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 da. Planes and stuff like it. It's nuts. And when you're getting shot at with the headset on, you feel like you kind of flinch a little bit, because it almost sounds like you really, in real life, you're getting shot at, right? it adds to the immersion. And then as the graphics in the game got better and it got more detailed, it just sucked you in. And this is how you can get, just every night playing this game for hours. And the thing is that you play this game, Call of Duty, it doesn't improve your life in any way, shape, or form. Not really. You have fun playing with your friends and all of that type of stuff, and it's just the experience of hanging out with your friends, shooting each other or whatever, and laughing and cracking jokes. You put hours into that, and it's fun. You don't really get much in return when you turn the game off, right? It doesn't carry over into your life. It's an experience you have, and once that experience is over, that's it, right? And then you just have to keep having that experience with your friends. But the experience is worth it. It's not improving your life in any way necessarily, but the experience itself is the thing that you appreciate so much that you'll pour hours of it. You'll pour hours of your life into playing this game online with your friends and trying to get as good as possible in this game, knowing that the skills that you develop in this game do not translate into anything outside of the game. You're only getting good at the game so you can further enjoy and immerse yourself in the experience of playing the game with your friends. That's it. You wouldn't even be playing the game if your friends weren't even on. So it's the experience that's that important. That's kind of like what spirituality brings you. You love your life and you live your life and you're excited about your life because of the experience and you want to do it every day. The workouts, they're intense and meaningful and it's a crazy experience. You want to keep doing it. Right? So like, for example, when you go outside and you train in the woods with resistance bands, the experience is like ultra graphics, right? Especially like if you go and train out in the woods, there's like a waterfall in the background. There is like squirrels running up and down trees. You can hear the leaves tremering and billowing in the background. There's the breeze and wind and leaves ruffling and whatnot. You hear birds and all types of stuff. The environment is just like, wow, the air is fresh, breeze hitting you, everything. It is an amazing experience. When you're just out in the middle of the woods by yourself, doing your workout. Nature is quiet and loud at the same time. There's just so much sound and smells and light and just it feels. I mean, it's nutty. Right? Some people spend time outside and be like, I don't like, it's hot. I want to go inside and just work out somewhere where it's air conditioned. So they join a gym. And the thing about being in a gym, you don't, is music playing on the speakers all the time. The music's got lyrics. The lyrics have nothing to do with what you're doing. It's a shine bright. They're saying stuff about diamonds and whatever. Whatever people, random lyrics that people put in songs. It's shining bright, it's diamonds, it's crystals. Something about clothes and money flashing or whatever. People just saying stuff over music, right? Not my thing. You get outside, it's a whole other thing. This is why, by the way, when people go to the gym, they put their music in their ears because they don't want to hear the music that they're playing on the speakers anyway. So as far as I'm concerned, gyms, I don't even know why gyms be even playing music in the first place. Nobody want to hear it. Turn it off. That's why there's TVs on the treadmills, because nobody wants to walk on a treadmill really and not go anywhere. But if you're watching the thing, it's like, okay, at least I'm being entertained by whatever I'm watching. When you go for a walk outside, you're going on a hiking trail, it's a whole nother thing. And when you do the spiritual work, the meditation, the self-exploration, you develop like the appreciation for like nature. You develop the appreciation for earth. It's like planting fruit or seeds and then watching it grow. Like you cultivated a thing, you grew a thing, and you get to go on this journey with it. You put something in soil and then it gave you put a seed in, and then the soil returned you something that's no longer a seed. It's something else now. It's phenomenal. Right? You see like a little green tomato and then it like grows and gradually expands and it becomes orange. It goes from being like green and tiny, then kind of yellow and a little bit more yellow and then kind of orange and then a deeper orange and it gets bigger and bigger and then it's red. And you get to see that happen. And every day you get to see the experience of it evolving, turning, it's growing this thing. So you get this big old juicy tomato, right? Or whatever you grow. A strawberry, it could be anything, right? And when you have a stronger sense of spirituality, you're able to immerse yourself in life to the point where you can have this deep experience by yourself, but you don't feel alone. Like when I go out in the woods and train, I don't feel alone. Because there's life, I'm surrounded by life. I'm not really alone. And there's peace, there's excitement, there's support, there's all these feelings that you get. It's a nutty feeling. You can't really experience all of that though if you don't have like any type of spiritual development. So you take your physical metrics and you take your spiritual metrics, you merge them together, and you get a completely different life. When you really commit to doing this, you want to go on the journey. You don't want to quit. You can't. Like, I'm a coach. I'm a mentor. I developed Tribe by Noire from the ground up. Created this whole methodology of how I do things and refined it over years, over a decade. No matter how hard it got, I never quit. I couldn't see myself doing anything else. From day one, I couldn't see myself doing anything else. From like 2014 onward, I was locked in. I didn't want to do anything else. I couldn't imagine it. Even till this day, I don't have a desire to do anything else. I offer like these really low price, like very affordable calls with me. Right? Where it's like, all right, how little can I charge for these calls? And did that. Because I want to have the calls with people. To the point, I'm not trying to maximize profits. I'm trying to maximize the connections and what I give to the community. So I want to talk to more people. I like to talk to people for the first time and be able to give them really valuable information that's world-changing for them. Just explain things to them and teach them things they never knew before. Where it's like, oh my God, my doctor's never told me any of this. Oh, that's why. I can't believe that. I'll get on a call with somebody and I'll explain things to them. Oh, you're experiencing this, and you're experiencing this because of that. And you're doing this because of that. Where if you were to get on a call with me, I can describe your experiences that you're currently having or have had without you telling me about them. And to see the look on somebody's face when you do that, it's like, I didn't tell him any of that. How does he know that? It's the experience of the journey. That's a result of getting the experience points. That's the gamification. The more calls I do, the more I learn, the better my understanding becomes. And then people will message me, they'll email me, or they'll DM me on Instagram, things like that. They'll DM me on TikTok. They'll message me in the Discord and be like, So I did what you told me to do. And it worked like clockwork. It was amazing. I've had people, they'd be like, yeah, my blood pressure, I've been battling high blood pressure for over a decade. I can't believe I did what you told me to do, and we were able to completely normalize my blood pressure and get me off of all of my medications in 4 weeks. It's astonishing. I can't believe it. My doctors don't even understand it. Stories like that is why I put in all the work that I've been putting in. That's why. That's what motivates me. And I don't know everything, so there's some issues that people may have. I don't have enough experience with it to really know how to fix it because it's such a rare experience that a person is having. But I'll research it. I'll be on the journey with them. And we'll be figuring it out together. And we get answers over time. It's being on that journey with people. It's exciting to me. And so over the years, I've been able to have a really high success rate with things that people don't really typically talk about. Lupus, Guillain-Barré, Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism, MS, IBS, leaky gut, gut dysbiosis, fatty liver disease, kidney disease. I'm able to have all of these successes with people and put people on the right track, give them the answers that they need to be able to take their life back, get off medications, all this phenomenal stuff. That's extremely valuable to me, and it has been over the years, to the point where it's like I can't imagine not doing it. I can't imagine not having a fruit dominant diet. I can't imagine no longer training with my resistance bands. I can't imagine no longer coaching or mentoring. I'm locked in. I'm all the way gamified, all the way bought in, right? It's not because like I listen to enough nobody gives me motivational speeches. I used to briefly listen to motivational speeches. That was like years ago. That might have been like back in like 2014 or something like this. But like motivational speeches are not really that interesting to me. I'm not really that interested in particular in motivation. Even the way that I view motivation now is completely different than how most people do it. Motivation is just a series of chemical and hormonal signaling. And it makes you feel a way. Right? That's really all it is. You'll feel more motivated if you make better food choices, you drink your herbal teas, and you go to bed at an earlier time. You'll wake up the next day and feel more motivation. If you take more rest days from training, let's say even like you take a week off from working out, and you get more sunlight, and you drink your herbal teas, and you eat more fruits, you get to bed earlier, your motivation will increase. You spend more time outside, motivation will increase. You get more electrolytes like potassium and magnesium. You get more manganese and more B vitamins in your diet. You're better hydrated. You get more motivation. When people give motivational speeches, what the motivational speech is supposed to do, it's supposed to make you aware of something. It's not really like about blowing smoke up your ass or something like this. It's about telling you something that you needed to know in that time. So for example, hey, you got to get up the stairs faster because the train is already waiting in the station, but it's about to leave in like 3 minutes. Oh shoot, I got to pick up the pace. You didn't know the train was about to leave in 30 minutes. You didn't even know the train already arrived. You didn't know. You got to catch a flight at the airport. Say the flight is at 9 a.m. You're like, oh, well, you know, I'll get to the airport at like 8 o'clock. So that means I got to leave my house at 7 o'clock. Or 6:30, or however. Well, actually, they shut down these lanes or whatever, so now you got to take the long route. You got to take a longer route. That route is extended by like 25 minutes. Oh, so I got to leave earlier. So now you're motivated to leave earlier. Motivation makes you aware of something that is like a tangible, real-world condition that you have to respond to. It creates urgency. Makes you pay attention. A motivational speech can be, you can do it, don't quit. Or a motivational speech could be, hey, if you keep eating like this for another week, your kidneys are going to fail. Oh. Both of those could be motivation. One is positive, one is extremely negative. It'll motivate you. So that's how I look at motivation. Good motivation basically changes your framing of how you see things because you've become more aware of new conditions. Pre-existing conditions that you haven't really been paying attention to. So you weren't really fully aware, at least not consciously. My motivation is reframing. I don't really feel like working out or doing resistance training. Why is that? I just feel tired. Okay. So let's improve your sleep quality and make sure that you're well fed. You don't think I should just push past and just work out anyway? Well, no. Because if you're tired and you don't feel like it, there's a lack of motivation. And earlier, I just said motivation is a series of chemical and hormonal signaling. So we want to alter the chemical and hormonal signaling in order to create the motivation in you that we can then use to deploy in the workout. That's how I view it. Right. I want to lose weight, but I barely eat and I'm just tired. I don't feel well. I don't sleep well. You barely eat. Yeah, but I have to eat less in order to lose weight. What makes you think that? Because if you eat less, it forces your body to burn more calories in a deficit, and therefore your body fat drops. Well, how has that been working out for you? Not very well, because I feel like shit. Aren't you supposed to be trying to lose weight so you can feel better? Yeah. Well, cutting the amount of food you eat makes you feel worse. So when does the feeling good and all the weight loss start? Seems like the cutting the food intake isn't really helping. Well, what should I do? You should eat more. Yeah, but if I eat more, I'm going to gain weight. Well, it depends on what you're eating more of. The reason why they tell you to eat less in order to lose weight is because they tell you to eat less under the assumption that the foods you've been eating are poisoning you. It's creating a lot of waste in your body, and the waste is stressing your body, causing you to gain weight. So they tell you to eat less of it. They're basically just telling you, hey, consume less food poisoning. But what if you just ate more foods that didn't accumulate waste and food poisoning? So you don't have to eat less, you just have to change what you eat. In fact, you should eat more. Food is not some burden that you got to cut out because it's a nuisance to your body. It's not what food is. Food is a resource that your body uses to operate. If you have less resources for your body to operate, what do you think your body's going to do? If motivation is a series of chemicals and hormonal signaling, Well, the food provides your body with the energy and the minerals and the vitamins and the amino acids that your body uses to create those chemicals and hormones in order to produce those chemical and hormonal signals that make you feel motivated. So how do you improve your motivation and you're cutting your food intake? Even to go to sleep, sleep requires chemical and hormonal signaling. If you're deprived of food, you feel tired and wired and anxious and miserable at the same time. You can't go to sleep. So you're tired, but you're wired. You're restless. So you're tired, but you're staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning scrolling through your phone because you can't go to sleep. You may even have heart palpitations. You need to have the hormonal balance needed in order to go to sleep. So it's ironic, right? Just because you're tired doesn't mean you're gonna go to sleep. That's not really how that works. You get more magnesium, you get more potassium in your diet, you get more tryptophan, you get more of these resources that calm your body down and create a sense of security in your body. Your body can chill out and you can go to sleep. Your body has a one-track mind. The only thing that your body cares about is not dying. That's the only thing your body cares about. Everything your body does is to prevent dying. That's essentially what that is. Your body does not care about six-pack abs. Your body does not care about growing your calves, growing biceps. Your body doesn't care about any of that stuff that you want to see in the mirror. Your body does not care. The only thing your body wants to do is prevent death. That's it. That's all your body cares about. If you reduce the amount of resources you give your body, you essentially put your body on a tight budget. Limited resources, you got to pick and choose. You want to grow that muscle, or you want to maintain adequate blood sugar so you don't pass out and die. What do you do? If you are food deprived, your body is going to be up and awake. You're like, why is my body keeping me up and awake? Well, because you're underfed. And so your body wants you to stay awake so you can go find some food. This is why you get the cravings for food in the middle of the night. Your body's like, it's not time to sleep. You're starving. Right? It's kind of like, look, if you know rent is due and you don't have money to make rent, kind of hard to go to sleep at night because your body is like, you're gonna be homeless. Get up and go get some money. There's a conflict there. You can't under-resource and deprive your body and then be like, all right, now go to sleep. It's a tough ask. There's not gonna be an agreement there. Right? You can't abuse your way into health. It's not really how it works. You can't deprive your way into health. It's not really how that works. Now you may hear that and be like, man, that's motivating. But what I just told you is that's not a motivational speech. I'm not telling you, hey, get up, you can do it. You just got to work harder. That's not at all remotely what I just said. I don't give motivational speeches. I don't. Here's the material conditions, this is how it works, and this is what you need to do in order to get it to work how you need it to work. And it's nothing to do with motivation. But getting that information may give you answers and clarity that may motivate you. Okay, now that I understand how this works, I can successfully go and do it. It's that. Well, Remsen, I don't understand, because you also advocate for alternate day fasting. Fasting is like not eating at all. Isn't that resource deprivation? No. It's resource redelegation. right? You fast this day, you eat more than you usually do the following day. It's just resource delegation. You're going a longer period of time without eating, but you're not underfed. So an example would be like, you have two people, one makes $120,000 a year, and the other one gets paid $120,000 a year. One of them, both of them make $120,000 a year, but one of them, they get paid every month. One of them, they get paid every quarter. So one person, they get 12 paychecks, the other one gets 4. Still $120,000. It's just delegated differently. The payout is just different. The one that gets paid fewer times gets larger checks. Right? They get 3 months of pay in one shot. Neither is dealing with resource deprivation. Now, the interesting thing about the alternate day fasting is if you have two people that make the same amount of money, but one gets paid more frequently than the other, the one that gets paid more frequently, they get used to the money frequently coming in. The one that gets larger checks, but they get paid infrequently, they have a different set of circumstances. They have to be more aware and diligent about budgeting. So they get this huge lump sum up front. It's a larger check, so it just looks like you have more money, but not really, because that money's got to stretch across the next 3 months. So you have to budget differently. You have to view your budget differently. You don't get paid as frequently. So you have to split up in between the 3 months now, because it's not spoon-fed to you monthly. It's different. So that condition forces you to view budgeting and engage with budgeting differently in the way that the one who gets paid monthly doesn't. That's what alternate day fasting is. It's a training mechanism. It has nothing to do with resource deprivation. Right? Me telling you that may be motivation to do alternate day fasting. And that's not me telling you to do alternate day fasting. That's just me describing the mechanisms of how it works and what it trains your body to do. There's not anything kind of like, go get it, do it, you can do it. There's none of that. I don't do that. Right? I'm basically saying all of that to illustrate motivation, how that works, right? You view motivation a bit differently. The type of motivation I don't really particularly like is motivation blowing smoke up people's ass. I don't really particularly do that. Now, for me personally, and I don't know if this is how everybody thinks, but my assumption with everybody that I talk to is that they have what it takes to achieve what they want. Everybody that I talk to, my assumption is that they are capable of achieving what they want. They just got to be pointed in the right direction. That's it. All of you are completely competent. You can achieve whatever you want. There's nothing wrong with you. You can do whatever you want. I view you the way I view myself. There's not really much of a difference. So when people are like, "Oh, wow, you've learned so much, and you have this talent for this and that," but that, I'm like, I don't really have anything you don't have. Not really. I made different choices, but I'm not capable of doing something you can't necessarily. Right? So I kind of see my own reflection in everybody in that kind of way. I don't have to motivate you to convince you that your goals are worthwhile. You're smart enough to know, right? The only thing that I am really doing is giving you answers to the questions you have, the things that you've indicated to me that you don't really quite understand. It's not due to anything you lack, is that you can't know everything, just like I can't know everything. There's things that y'all bring up to me I've never heard of. Someone on the previous stream last week, they brought up to me, what's that called? Was it like microphotons or something that had to do with photons? Biophotons, I think it was that they called it. And biophotons, my understanding is that organic life forms have the ability to create small amounts of light. And it's biophotons. I always view that as bioluminescence, right? Like how a jellyfish can like light up in the sea, like in the ocean, where you can go deep enough down into the ocean where it's like pitch black, but you have like living beings like jellyfish and stuff, and they're capable of like bioluminescence. Their body emits light. It's crazy, right? But apparently it's not just marine life that does this. It's people that do this. There's food that do this. It's very small amounts of light. And I'm like, you know what? That's plausible. Because it's like a high frequency thing, right? Light is a frequency. Just like color is a frequency. Frequency is high enough, it's perceptible to the human eye. Right? It's just a matter of whether or not your eye has the ability to pick up on it. The human eye does, some more than others, but it's a thing we can do, right? So we can see that luminescence, those biophotons. And the biophotons are indicators of importance. And this is like the colors of foods. And you can see this like in fruits and things like this. And you'll, like, if you listen to like fruitarians really talk about their fruit or their food, fruitarians are like really serious about fruit. Fruit's very unique because fruit is like unusually colored. There's not really any other food that has this strong, vibrant color like fruit does. Fruit's very different from any other type of food. It's in a class of its own. It's almost alien, right? Fruit will literally look like dragon eggs. Like, fruit looks like intense. It's alluring. It's nutty how fruit really looks. Like, if you look at like a soursop or jackfruit, or you look at the inside of a kiwi or something like this, right? The inside of a kiwi looks crazy. It almost looks like an eye, like a retina. It looks crazy, right? It looks like a portal or something like this. Or like star fruit, or, you know, dragon fruit, or, you know, these types of things. It's amazing. And you have like these fruits, they're extremely powerful, and they have these deep, rich pigmentations that are loaded with like these chemical compounds that protects the cells of your body. So people are like, is it really possible to build muscle eating fruit? And I'm like, yes. Because fruit, it facilitates the process of recovery and growth because they literally contain powerful antioxidants that protect your cells from being destroyed. You don't need as much protein because you don't have as much protein breakdown. There's less breakdown, there's less catabolism. You have these foods like these fruits, and it's a completely, the rules for a fruit-based diet are completely different. The rules are completely different. It's not just calories and macros, and it's much different. These are chemical entities. These are high vibrational chemical entities. It's an entirely different thing. You eat them raw, you don't have to cook them or nothing. It's unlike any other kind of food. You can pick it straight off the tree or the vine and just eat it as is. It's just ready as is, unlike anything else. Right? And there's a major lack of appreciation for that. Where you have people like, oh, fruit is just sugar. Are you insane? It's just sugar? It's like one of the most ignorant statements you could possibly make. Like, we're just going to hand wave all the other aspects of fruit. We just dismiss all of it. which is sugar. It's insane. Oh, we got to cut sugar out of our diet. When you say you had to cut sugar out of your diet, what do you mean by that? You hear people say things, and it's like, you know, we live in a society where we like massively overlook extremely important things. Even like, you have people like, I want to grow more muscle mass. I want to get jacked. You grow muscle mass, right? And then beyond a certain point, the more muscle mass you build, the shorter your life becomes. You can actually build too much muscle mass to the point where it shrinks your life expectancy. And your body knows this, which is why, like, you'll see bodybuilders and their body will be like, all right, we're done building no more muscle. That's it. Locking it down. And they'll stop. And their body will just shrink. Their body will shed muscle mass. Because that muscle mass, it's so metabolically active and so demanding. It's like robbing your body of all its other resources. It's disproportionate. It's like having an oversized heart. It's too big. It's like having veins that are too wide. So your body has to produce so much more pressure. Because the wider your veins become, the lower your blood pressure gets. So now you need more blood plasma, more blood volume. So now your body has to compensate for this disproportionate size, this excessive. All right? So like things can be too big. So, you know, we like to see, we go on Instagram and we see abs and we see glutes and we see back muscles. We see all these muscles and bodybuilders and we're like, man, we want to get in shape. We want to look like those people on the magazine. And your body is maybe like, not like that. It's too much. So you have people like, you need to get more protein. You need to get all of this protein. You got to eat 200 grams of protein a day, 250 grams of protein. It's too much. So you feel like you got to eat all this protein to build all this muscle mass, and your kidneys are like, no, stop. This is not normal. Stop. Right? It's like putting all kind of growth hormone in a chicken so you can get it to grow as fat as possible to the point where it can't walk because you want more meat for more protein. It's too much. We need some balance. It's not that difficult to gain muscle mass. You just need some patience. You do your workouts. You take your rest days. You live and enjoy your life. Be more well-rounded, more balanced. Read some books. Do some research. Make some friends. Go on some hiking trails. Develop new skills. Have an artistic development. There's all these things that you can do in life to round you out as a person and create more fullness and a deeper sense of connection in your life. And when you pour into all the different buckets in your life and you mature yourself as a person, you look in the mirror one day and you're like, oh shoot, I'm actually building muscle. Look at this. All right. It creeps up on you like that. The times in my life where I had the most progress with muscle growth was when I was not focused on muscle growth. I was focused on like, I just wanted to go to the gym and work out with my friends. I just wanted to go to the gym and put more weight on the bar. I wanted to put that extra 5 pounds. I wanted to get those little 2.5 pound plates and put them on each side of the bar. And I want to hit an X amount of reps. I wanted to hit a PR. It was all that other stuff. I wouldn't really focus on building muscle per se. I just wanted to improve in different areas. the way that I was able to get a really strong back squat was by focusing on hip mobility and ankle mobility. So I got really deep into like mobility exercises and mobility drill. I was really, really diligent about mobility. And at that time where I was the most focused on improving my mobility and my range of motion, that's when my squat was the biggest. That's when I can move the most weight. I gamified it. So I take like this backdoor route to my goals. Like if you want to build a successful business and make a lot of money, the goal is not to just be hyper focused on making a lot of money and maximizing profit. If your focus is on maximizing profit, you're going to be a terrible human being. Because the pursuit of money turns you into a terrible person. It just does. It makes you greedy. It makes you into like this weird lizard person. Right? Or some stuff like, when I say lizard person, I mean like, you'll watch a bird sitting on her eggs, and you're just waiting for the moment for her to get up and leave those eggs so you can go and eat her babies. Not because like you hate her or want to hurt her. You just want to eat the eggs. It's this lizard brain. Hey, look, I just want to maximize profit. I'm not trying to be malicious to you. I just want to make more money. It's that's that lizard thing. I don't have any kind of feelings about it. It's just how it is. It's that, right? You develop that kind of mentality, you become a type of person that's a smarmy kind of person that people don't like. That's my framing of like the pursuit of money. It's a very toxic thing, right? People will say, oh, that's a mentality of brokies or whatever. And I'm like, you can say that all you want, but the times in my life that I've had the most level of financial success is when I stopped pursuing money. So all of these people who act like, oh, only broke people say that. Those are broke people saying that. The most successful people are the ones that don't chase money. They just genuinely want to be better at what they're doing. They want to be as good as they can get. They want to be able to produce something that's better. And they're always trying to make it better, trying to dial it in. How can this be more valuable for people? How can this be easier to use? How can I explain this better? It's that. The money you get is just like a side effect of the other work you've done. It just flows in. You don't got to worry about it. It just comes to you. That's what that financial success is. Like, that is the key to financial success as far as what I know. It's the same thing with your health goals. It's the same thing with spirituality. The goal is like, oh, I want to become a spiritual person. That's not... Nobody really becomes a spiritual person. It's not really how that works. Like, for me to develop more spirituality, I didn't like, oh, I'm going to sit with my legs crossed, I'm going to do my fingers like this, and then I'm going to do like a deep moaning sound. And I'm going to have sage burning. It wasn't that. None of that was my spiritual journey. That's not what that was. It wasn't me reading any kind of scriptures or anything. It's not what that was. It's not like a brand. I could be in practicing certain spiritual practices. You wouldn't even know I'm doing it. Like even now, right now, this is a spiritual practice. When I come on and I have these conversations with y'all, I don't do this because like I get paid for doing it. I haven't pitched anything on this stream. I haven't told you to sign up for anything. I haven't even told you to hit the like button. I haven't told you any of that. I didn't tell you about a sale I'm running or something to sign up for. I haven't told you any of that. I'm coming on. I'm giving you that information that I feel can be of great benefit to you. I'm just giving it to you. Then I hope you use it. And then it benefits your life. So every Monday I come on the stream, I do that as an act of service and as a gratitude. I've learned this thing and I'm so grateful for how much it helped me in my life, and I give that in return. If you want to book a call with me, if you want to do the coaching, things like that, I do that as well. Most people know that I'm doing that, right? But you keep watching the streams. It's a genuine conversation, having a meaningful conversation, and it is a collective spiritual experience. if spirituality is defined as cultivating a sense of connection, if spirituality is defined by a language of our, we, and us, as opposed to me, mine, as a singular entity, right? Because spirituality is defined by the language. So you have egotism, I, me, and mine's, spirituality, we, ours, and us, or we, us, and ours. It's an inclusive. One is exclusive, one is inclusive. Egotism breeds separation, spirituality breeds connection, union. Right? So we're all gathered in the stream having this conversation, or not necessarily having a conversation, I'm just running my mouth. But it's that. You may have some people and they're like, well, you know, you don't want to give away too much information. I'm not concerned about giving away too much information. I never had to worry about it. I never will worry about it. I don't withhold information. I never had to. I'm a strong believer in universal law. Things just work the way that they work. You follow the laws, life becomes a lot easier. You get what you want. You break the laws, it's pain. Right? That's a very valuable thing to listen. You may hear that, and that's very motivational. Circling back around the gamification. The way that you gamify your life is every time you show up to one of these streams, you get experience points. Right? It's kind of like in a video game, there's always a spot in a video game that you can go to and you can farm the spot for experience points. I kind of use my streams as that. We're like, all right, Monday night, I'm giving out experience points. I'll do it until I run out of my ability to continue to give away experience points. I can tell y'all how y'all would know if I'm running out of the ability to give experience points. Because I'm not going to be able to do this perpetually. I'll do it as long as possible, but there will become a point where I'm not able to do it. Like I don't, because there's only one Monday and I can't do it, right? But I do it as much as possible. Like at one point, I used to give consultation calls for free. I wouldn't charge for them, and I had to stop doing that. I didn't want to, but like I was forced to stop doing it. Because what would happen was people would sign up for a call and then not show up. And I was like, wow, the disrespect, right? So now people have to put skin in the game. It's not free anymore. Now everybody shows up. So like I do have to make like these modifications. I will hold out as long as possible. But universal law dictates that like, hey, look, certain things you do during the day, certain things you do at night. It's how it is. Right? When you get new information that's valuable, you respond to it. You don't give less, you just change the way that you give, and you change the rules to be able to access what you give. But you don't become like stingy and jaded. You just become smarter about how you give it and who you give it to. Right? A big part of an ecosystem is maintaining flow. You don't want congestion. Right? Whatever you can give away, you give it away. You don't hoard. Hoarding looks like obesity. Your body's hoarding resources. It's this fear of letting go. Right? There's this overwhelming an accumulation of waste products and toxicity. A big part of it is letting go. But in order to let go, you need the comfort to do so. People struggle to lose weight because their body is uncomfortable with letting go. So, you've been eating right, you've been trying to get to bed earlier, and all of that. but your body's still holding on. One thing that's really important to do is to figure out why. This is me giving you a side quest. Figure out what is making your body feel uncomfortable with letting go. What is that? What are you holding on to? What are you you're holding on grip to your life? What are you holding on to that you can just let go of, but you're just not comfortable with letting go? What is that? Like an abusive relationship that you don't want to walk away from. What are you afraid is going to happen if you walk away? What do you think is going to happen? You have people in your life and you want to say things to them and you never say it because you're afraid of what would happen if you said it to them and you heard it. How would they respond? You're afraid because you don't know how they're going to respond. It could be that. You're holding on to something. There's this reservation. There's a hang up. What is that? People are like, I went to college, and every year I was in college, just gaining weight like crazy. I don't know why. I just couldn't stop. Just kept gaining weight. I blew up in college, gained crazy weight. I put on a ton of weight after having my first kid. I had a kid, boom, blew up in weight. You even have fathers. Wife is pregnant, father's gaining weight. I was like, you ain't even the one carrying the damn baby, you gaining weight. What's going on? How much anxiety are these situations creating? Right? I always make this joke about if I had a kid, the stakes in life just became real high. Because now my life is no longer my own. My life belongs to my kid. It's like how the human body, the only human body wants to do is keep you from dying. Just do whatever you got to do to prevent death. That's the only thing your body cares about. You become a parent, you have a kid. It's like, look, primary objective number one, keep your kid safe. Make sure your kid has a good life. Make sure your child is covered. That's it. And you'll hang yourself trying to do it, if that's what it takes. Right? That's going to create some anxiety. I'm not gonna be on here all night. I'm gonna stick to my word. Because I'll be talking about how we gotta get to bed at a decent time. And then I'll be keeping y'all up all night. I like talking to y'all for real. If I wasn't streaming right now, I would have finished eating this an hour and a half ago. This bowl takes me 10 minutes to eat. I'm going to stream and take me an hour and a half. So we had to get deep tonight. So, as always, much appreciated. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Let me check in with y'all in the comments. I think about how cold all that getting for you sometimes. Yeah, my food is cold right now. By the way, Tyson, that was you that told me to talk more about the biophotons, right? Was that you? And then you asked me to talk about it last stream. So I was like, all right. when y'all ask me to look into things and whatnot, I actually go and do it too. This is a man with true topological, holistic understanding of health, throwing you a life raft from the sea of chaos and dissonance. Institutions keeping you sick to continue parasitizing your energy. Yeah, that's the goal, man. That's big. But yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, man, it blew my mind. Yeah. Yeah, it's so I looked into it too, and I'm like, that's actually a very deep topic that I just do not know enough about to talk about it with any sense of authority. But it's that thing that I'm chipping away at, right? To see how far the rabbit hole goes on that. We know it exists. I previously knew it as bioluminescence. But it goes a lot deeper than that. Right? Because this applies to like any organic life forms. It's a very real thing. So yeah, it's a deep topic. So I got a lot of learning to do. Where you said through diet, though, it comes back under control. Well, that was a comment from earlier. D, you still in here? We said that's a great question for Coach. I did not think it's possible, but I strictly followed the tips and menu, and I've reversed my diabetes. Only issues now are with stress and steroids from having asthma. Yeah, we're going to see how things work out now in your new environment. Because I think now with you in a new environment, escaping environmental toxicity, that should be like the key pivot point in your life right now, where pretty much all those issues get resolved. That's what I'm banking on. Have you ever had a client with diabetes you couldn't help reverse? No. Full diabetes reversal takes longer for some people than others. So, like everybody who I've had with diabetes issues, we've been able to make progress. But it's just a matter of the time it takes and how long they stay on the plan. But they've all had progress. I've never had anybody where they had like diabetes and we didn't make any progress. There's one person that I've had. We made tremendous results. But the main hang-up was there was a medication that they were really uncomfortable with getting off of. And they had a lot of success, but it wasn't a full reversal. But they had like a relapse of bad eating habits. Basically, like they went off the coaching program. They didn't renew, and they went off on their own, and they fell off the rails when they went off on their own. I was hurt. Because my goal, like, I don't plan on like coaching people forever. I want basically, you know, I give you 8, 12 weeks, or like 12 weeks, right? And we're just on it for that 12 weeks, weekly calls, and all of that type of stuff. We're on track. You learn everything that you need to know within that 12 weeks to handle your situation, and then you can fly the coop and take it from there. Still keep in touch with me. Let me know how things are going. Stay in the Discord, all that type of stuff. But she went off the rails and then reached back out to me later, and she did some things, and it was hard to find the way back. And that kind of bothered me like till this day. I take it like real personal. So that was like one. And I'm not gonna tell all their business, but mistakes were made. I've learned from those mistakes since then, so I know how to deal with that issue. But it's experience, right? So, you live and you learn, but this was like years ago. So if they were to come back to me now, knowing the information I know, they would be like a complete turnaround. What advice would you give a woman with fibroids? Fibroids, you usually either have environmental contamination, prolonged usage of birth control, vitamin D deficiency, and magnesium deficiency. Those seem to be like the key contributors to fibroids. The best thing I've found to help reverse fibroids is a fruitarian style diet. Right, like a high raw fruitarian diet. That's been the thing I've had the most success with as far as shrinking fibroids. No oil, no dairy, no wheat, no starches. I should say that, but minimal starches. Your dietary fats, if you get dietary fats, it should just be nuts, seeds, avocado, coconut. Women with fibroids don't respond well to like tofu or high amounts of protein in the diet. So if you get a lot of protein in your diet, generally speaking, this ends up growing your fibroids. So it's unadvisable to do that. Like my diabetes, got off 3 meds for the diabetes alone and other meds for other problems. Thank you Coach for getting me off 18 meds. That's right. Miss D, always coming through with the wins. That's right. Miss D is one of those highly evolved people. She's one of those people who like, she has like a type of wisdom that takes like multiple lifetimes to develop. It's very interesting. You'll have people with like really, really deep multi-generational wisdom and they're not really aware that they have it. Because it's so normalized for them. It's in their spirit. It may not be a whole bunch of like technical knowledge, but it's like, it's old wisdom. It's a bit different. Wisdom is applied science, basically. Right? Like wisdom is like a mindset. It's a state of being. It's a heightened level of intuitiveness. It's an entirely different thing. It's not intelligence really. It's a type of intelligence, but it's much deeper than that. One of the things that's fascinated me the most, and now I'm like going on, this is where like I'm stretching now, but and I said I wasn't going to keep y'all all night, but I'm not going to go on too long, but I really want to make this point about wisdom. Some people possess like a level of wisdom, and everybody else around them, to some degree or another, really notices that wisdom, and it's like mind-blowing, but the person who possesses that wisdom, they don't see it the way that you do. They're not aware of how much of it they have. They're not aware of their level of wisdom. They don't really quite, or at least the way that they behave or engage with you, it seems like they're not really aware of it. Like they don't even really know. It's so natural to them. It's almost to a point where like you almost can assume that they think that that level of wisdom is just normal and everybody's like that. And it's not, right? My mom has it, Miss D has it. There's just certain people who have it. And they do things intuitively. Nobody really had to teach them to do it necessarily. It's just like a thing they know to do. They know what to do and when to do it. And it just goes on autopilot and they do it. If you watch them do it, it's amazing to see it happen. And it's usually something that's like really simple. But like people don't really do it that often. It's a very interesting thing. I was explaining intelligence versus wisdom to a 14-year-old client 2 days ago. The most evil people in the world have been some of the smartest humans ever. Yeah, they're smart, but not wise. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess like smart is knowing how to do something, and then wisdom is knowing you shouldn't do it. Right? It's like that kind of thing. You can be smart enough to do something, but wise enough to know that even though you can do it, you shouldn't. Right? So you can say like smart people are some of the dumbest people in the world, right? Because they don't have the wisdom to know not to do certain things. Or dolphins being some of the smartest creatures, yet seen with evil tendencies they love so much. Yeah, I know dolphins. I don't understand. I don't get it. You think, oh, dolphins, they're so cute. And they like torturing animals and stuff, or like bullying. It's weird. You're like, what's that about? That's so bizarre. I'd like to follow a mostly fruitarian diet, but I train hard and don't have access to high quality vegan protein powder. I don't want to lose muscle mass nor lack protein intake. Any suggestions? Yeah, so basically, if you train hard, that's all the more reason to get more carbs in, right? So you're talking about energy. So if you want to have the energy needed in order to sustain intense training, it's going to be a carb dominant diet. So your fruits, you have building fruits. So an example of building fruit is like bananas. So you can get like 200 to 300 grams of carbs in one sitting eating fruit. Then you have your astringent fruits. This is like your detoxifying fruits, your cleansing fruits. This is your grapes, your pineapples, your apples, things like this, all right? Then you have your hydrating fruits. Your hydrating fruits are like your melons, watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew, all different types of melons, right? Then you have your medicinal fruits. These are like low glycemic, very pigmented, violet or red fruits, right? Like blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, cranberries, right? These different types of berries, right? And they're very medicinal. They usually have high levels of vitamin E, vitamin K. They tend to have violet colors. They have very, very rich in polyphenols. Things like resveratrol. They contain high concentrations of these things. So they have these strong protective antioxidants in them, right? So those are your berries, and they're really good to mix with your fats. Like, for example, like coconut yogurt, or chia seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, these types of things, right? Walnuts, these types of things. So like when you follow like a raw fruitarian diet, it's good to keep in mind the different types of categories of fruits and what to implement in your diet. And then also you have your building foods. They're not building carbohydrate foods like bananas, but they're like your nuts and seeds, like your avocado, your nuts, like hemp seeds, your pumpkin seed kernels, your sunflower seed kernels, almonds, cashews, peanuts, Brazil nuts, these types of things, right? These are building foods. These are foods that possess like the minerals that are needed in order to bring together and materialize new cells, right? So these are foods that are rich in like selenium and zinc and manganese and phosphorus and things like this, right? And they have the fats that your body uses in order to create hormones like testosterone, adrenaline, estrogen, etc., these types of things, right? The zinc that is needed in order to maintain adequate insulin production in your pancreas, right? You need zinc to be stored in your pancreas to adequate levels in order to have optimal levels of insulin secretion from the pancreas. It's needed in order to maintain the life cycle and integrity of your beta cells, your insulin producing beta cells in your pancreas. So zinc is really important for that. Zinc is really important for your gut microbiome, maintaining your immune system, adequate hormonal levels like testosterone, adrenaline, different things like this. Boron, manganese, right, to maintain and develop and bring together the calcium structures in your body, right, so that in your cells, that your body locks in the amino acids and the minerals needed to make a solid cellular and molecular structure, right? So these types of things. And then you have like your leafy green vegetables that are needed as like they have a variety of different, so like your leafy greens, they detox your body because they're very rich in prebiotic fiber that feeds your good gut bacteria, insoluble fiber that literally cleans your digestive tract, right? It helps to remove waste and keep waste from accumulating on your gut walls. They free up the microvilli that lines your digestive tract. Your leafy green vegetables, possess chlorophyll, which is a cleansing agent, right? They provide tremendous amounts of vitamin K, right? And vitamin K basically converts into vitamin K1 that converts into vitamin K2 in your gut, which is extremely important for hormonal production, maintaining a strong immune system, a responsive immune system, right? So, for example, cancer undermines your body's ability for your immune system to activate and kill cancer. So when you have that level of vitamin K2 production and is adequate, your immune system is more responsive to pathogens. But it's not over-responsive to the point where you develop an autoimmune disease, right? A responsive immune system is an accurate one. It's precise. So you need your leafy green vegetables for that. Your leafy green vegetables are very rich in your polyphenols, your alpha carotene, your beta carotene, your tannins and things like that, and it has a cleansing effect on your body as well. So your leafy green vegetables, they're not like a source of energy necessarily, but they're like a maintenance mechanism. They're medicinal, right? And so when you hit all of these different areas in your raw diet, that ensures that your body operates in peak health. So it's not really like about protein powders and things like this. It's really about just maintaining a well-oiled machine. Now there's that. Now for me, I advocate for more of like a high raw diet. So you don't have to swear off the food because it's cooked. So for example, I'm eating, this was lentils. This was lentil soup, right? So lentils, avocado, and I put tofu chunks in here. This is like my only cooked meal I had this day. All my other foods today was like fruits and nuts and leafy greens. Fruits, nuts and seeds, leafy greens. This is like the only cooked meal I only have like one cooked meal in a day. I don't really eat more than one cooked meal in a day. I don't like having more than one cooked meal in a day. I personally don't like it. I feel sluggish the next day when I do that. I feel a difference. If I have 2 cooked meals in a day, I feel sluggish. It does not feel good. So with the lentils, that 1 cup of lentils, that's like 100-something grams of carbs, like 40 grams of protein, like 45 grams of protein or something. Zinc, magnesium, manganese, phosphorus, selenium. I mean, just the works. Full amino acid profiles, phenomenal. Top it with the avocado for really good sleep at night. Vitamin E, extra zinc. The works. Omega-6 essential fatty acids. And then I threw some tofu in there, so I'm getting an abundance of protein. So yeah, you don't need much protein, to be quite honest. 1 gram of protein per kilogram of lean mass typically is enough for most people. The upper limit is more so along the lines of like 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of lean mass. That's your total body weight minus your body fat percentage. And then your herbs. So for example, this is basil tea, and the tea I had this morning was burdock root. Burdock root in the morning, basil tea before or after the last meal of the day. And that's it. All right. And then juicing. Juicing is phenomenal. 32 ounces of juice. I juice a bunch of grapefruit and tangerines and melon and whatnot. Grapes and whatnot. Till I get 32 ounces of juice. Boom. And for the fitness folks, you can juice a bunch of fruits, so you get 32 ounces of juice, and then you can put like 5 grams of creatine in there. All right, you could do that on a daily basis. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. Protein is a very small portion of it. Does minimizing overall fat intake speed up the fat loss process? Would this fat intake hinder muscle growth if all the other macros are on point? Yeah, so basically, generally speaking, your fat intake should be anywhere between 15 to upwards of like 30%. Somewhere around 20 to 25% is more like the average. If you are insulin resistant, struggling to lose weight, diabetic, then you would want to decrease your fat intake to in between 10 to 15% of your macros in order to ensure the increase in insulin sensitivity. Okay. Doing that will actually give you more energy and power the muscle growth process. Just to make sure that you're well fed and you're eating enough carbs. All right. Advice for PCOS: I haven't been diagnosed, don't have cysts, but have other symptoms. Yeah, so like PCOS essentially is when you have those cysts growing on your ovaries, right? It's polycystic ovarian syndrome. So if you don't have the growths on your actual ovaries, I don't know if I'd call it PCOS. If you have other symptoms, it depends on what the symptoms are. Like, is your testosterone and estrogen disproportionate, meaning your testosterone is excessive and the estrogen is actually at a deficit? Are you growing like extra body hair, or you growing like a little light mustache, right? A little peach fuzz in the chin? Is it that? Is it a struggle to build to drop body fat, where like you're storing a lot of body fat around the midsection, but kind of have like skinny arms and legs? It depends, right? More broadly speaking, I think the thing that would yield the best results is something that decongests your liver. So burdock root helps to do that. It's a blood cleanser also. Having more of a fruitarian diet helps to improve insulin sensitivity. So when basically, you reduce the starches, you reduce the fats, the saturated fats and things like this in your diet. You get rid of the excess protein in your diet. This significantly increases insulin sensitivity, improves your sleep quality. When your sleep quality improves, you get more hormonal balance and things like that could correct the issue. All right, now we're 2 hours in. Let me stop. I'm holding y'all up. I gotta get to bed too. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. We get to one last comment. How do you time full day fasting around workouts? How is MPS is still ongoing while fasting without optimal timing? And can you leverage drinking your own juiced fruits, veggies on those fasting days? Yeah, so like fasting days for me are not training days. I don't train on fasting days. If I'm doing like alternate day fasting, I'm training like every other day. Fasting days are more so for recovery, reflection, learning, things like that. The fasting days are a setup for the full days of eating. That's usually what it is for me. So it's a great way for me to modify, my workload. So on my fasting days, it's not like a hardcore day. It's not an intense day. I do a lot of learning on fasting days. I do a lot of prep, a lot of planning, a lot of reflection on fasting days. Cardio is walking on fasting days, so long walks, hiking trails, things like this. Meal prep on fasting days, so I can prep for the following day of eating and things like that. So that's how I go about my fasting days. All right. Last thing I'll say is this. I dropped a lot of information on y'all today. Talked about a lot. A lot of it was centered around self-development, lifestyle development, and all that. You may have a lot of other questions. You can get on a call with me. and get direct answers to your questions that you may have. All right. So there's a link in the description of this video to book a call with me. All right. You get a full hour and we get to answer all the questions you have. And then also, if you want coaching or anything like that, you want coaching support, personalized plan, things like this, weekly calls, whatever the case may be, it's in the 12-week mentorship. So you get access to all of my courses, guides, weekly coaching calls. You can also get personal diet plan and training plan. That's in the 12-week mentorship. There's 3 tiers. You pick which one best suits your budget and what you're looking for. All right. So having said that, I will catch y'all on the next Monday Night Raw. Bless up, y'all. Get to bed.